Welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's Optimism Night in the Sanctuary, and we're going to get a healing on our vibration of optimism. And before I get started, I wanted to remind you, those of you that took Creative Genius will remember this. If you haven't taken Creative Genius, then it might be new information. But whatever picture you're running your energy through, that's what you're creating for yourself. So this healing has to do with cleaning up our negative self-talk and getting back into a space of when things are either neutral or looking kind of bad, that you can still find your optimism. And it does have to do with what pictures you run your energy through. So I'm going to clear optimism first, like just general optimism. And then we're going to clear optimism in the morning. So are you optimistic when you wake up in the morning? And then optimism in your money. And then optimism with your goals and optimism with your future. So that's what tonight's healing is all about. And I'm going to go ahead and get started by setting the energy with a prayer. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. All right. Now, the way that I do this, for those of you that are new, is I look at a collective of everybody in the sanctuary, and I do the healing on a composite of everybody, looking at their matching pain pictures. So by looking at matching pain pictures, I can clear everybody all at once. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And this first part will be on your basic vibration of optimism. First energy coming out is unconscious energy. So a lot of unconscious energy in optimism. And we know what's underneath unconscious energy. It sits on top of pain. So here's pain. We're going to clear the unconscious energy first and then get to the pain. And right away, we're getting to the energy that I was talking about that I wanted to get to. I'm hearing things like, this is never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. Like talking about something that you're trying to create. And so we want to get that energy out of where you're running your energy through negative pictures. And there's a lot of lumpy white energy coming off of you. And that is a lot of competition to prevent you from being optimistic. And what I'm seeing pretty much with everyone is your real optimism vibration goes back to your childhood. So I think what I'm going to be doing is working on a timeline to help everybody go find their original optimism and then bring it forward into present time. You know, when we were kids, it was really easy to create. You would just create in no effort and things would happen rather quickly. And so it's easier to be optimistic when you're young. As you get older, more energy gets in your aura and in your creative energy. So it doesn't flow as easily as it used to when you were a child unless you do energy work to keep it moving. Okay, good. Now we're getting down to the sledge, the junk that's in your optimism vibration. It's very dark. It's kind of shiny like grease. And there's just a lot of people in this vibration telling you that no, you can't, like, to not be so upbeat. Just a lot of destroy energy. That's what I'm looking at. Destroy energy. It seems to me that a very popular time period for optimism is about 3 years old. And it has to do with at 2, you're learning how to do a lot of new things. And by 3, you've had some accomplishments. So there's a good level of optimism there at age 3. That's where I find it. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking at that vibration, and there's a lot of gold in this vibration, and I'm going to try to bring that forward on the timeline and get that back into your bodies. Well, this is kind of interesting. There's a large percentage of the negative energy that's not yours. It's like other people's information on optimism and where they've gotten stuck. And that includes family members and friends, and where their optimism isn't very strong. So there's a lot of mixed energy in your space that I'm going to clear out. The way this energy is releasing, it's so interesting. Each healing is different. This one, it's coming straight from the top down. And it's honestly like watching you lose or release like a suit of lumpy white energy. And it's down to about the knees right now. I'm still working that. I just saw something that optimism is really about your certainty about your creative energy. So when you're certain about your ability to create, you can run a high level of optimism. And what we're trying to do is clean it out so that you can run that optimism even when you're not having a high level of success. The wellness vibration that's being brought in is a light blue. So I'm watching light blue go through your body. Okay. I'm going to move on now. Your space looks good. The optimism vibration looks good. So now I'm going to go to your optimism in the morning. Do you wake up optimistic? Let's look. Well, it's interesting because it looks to me like your optimism grows as you clear pictures during the night. Like if you can clear the energy that came into your space during the day while you're sleeping at night and out of your body, where it's a lot easier to clear pictures. Um, then you can have your optimism. Then that's when that optimism comes in. So it has something to do also with not clearing your pictures at night. So that's the next place that I'm looking at. So I'm doing a little healing on your astral space because from where I'm sitting and what I'm looking at, that has an impact on whether or not you can find your optimism in the morning. And the color for optimism in the morning is different. Like I was seeing the clear light blue come in for just your vibration of optimism. But where I'm working now, it's like a cantaloupe melon color. Well, I'll tell you what I'm learning about you is that you're not running your energy enough because the pictures are really stacking up. And I'm kind of surprised at what I'm finding, not about the pictures in your space, but that your nighttime astral plays such an important part of whether or not you wind up being optimistic in the morning. And what I was doing is just clearing a whole bunch of pictures. They looked like little black dots all over the place. And these were pictures that weren't getting cleared at night. And for whatever reason, that really opened up your back energy channels and your front channels. So that was really good. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to optimism in your money space. I thought this would be a good one. Because remember, what you run your energy through is what you're going to create. So if you have a negative conversation with yourself about your money, that's what you're creating. So we want to clean all of that out and reset it to optimism. It's interesting. There's a lot of coveting energy in the money space right now, like, keeping it close to you, not wanting to spend it, hanging on to it, and almost retreating from others. Like that's just the energy that I see is very coveting of money. There's a lot of media energy that contributes to the polar opposite of optimism in your money space. So I'm cleaning that out. This is a dark purple energy, and some of it's dry, like it's been there for a while. There's some teenage energy about money. Like back when you got your first job and looking at what your paycheck was, that there's some pictures that need to be cleaned out there. Okay. I just really wanted to clean that space out. And the energy that's coming into optimism with your money is like sunset colors, like the pink orange end of a sunset. I also find a lot of energy in your money space that affects your optimism from bosses, people who, yeah, just bosses, management and bosses. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to fill that space in. And the next space that we're going to look at for optimism is your goals. And I was really thinking of your spiritual goals when I wrote that. So that's what I'm going to be clearing it out for, is your spiritual goals. The first energy I see is the energy of unawareness of what your spiritual goals are. So I'm going to ground that first. As I say hello to your spiritual goals and clean out the energy, what's happening is you're starting to run creative energy as this particular topic gets cleared. So I'm starting to see a lot of colorful creative energy coming in. I was just thinking you could think of your spiritual goals as something that's always working in the background of your life, and it's actually driving what you do in the physical world. So it's always going on in the background. So when it comes to your spiritual goals, I find this interesting is that there's a lot of karma and past life energy that needs to be addressed. And the reason why would be if you're working on a spiritual goal that you've worked on in another lifetime, and let's say you had difficulty working on that spiritual goal in another lifetime, then that energy comes forward with you into this present time body. So you have a memory of that karma, and that's what we want to clear. There's a lot of shame coming out, shame about not being able to accomplish your spiritual goals, and that's being cleared. I'm clearing victim pictures and energy. Okay, that space looks good. I'm going to fill that in with gold. That space turned out to be a mint green. And then the next space that I'm going to work on is your future. And I think the way that I want to work this is looking at optimism on your spiritual path. How are you at being optimistic on your spiritual path? Well, I like what I see. There's a lot of what would I call that? Pick up and go, like dusting yourself off and moving on to the next thing and the next thing. So there's a lot of resiliency that I see. The color that I'm seeing for optimism on your spiritual path is this beautiful purple, like a royal purple. There are pictures about reaching your spiritual goals is going to be difficult. And so some of those pictures about it being insurmountable and really hard are actually keeping you from attempting your spiritual goals. So I'm going to run the optimism right on the path through it and clean it off. When I do that, when I run the purple on your spiritual path, everything calms down and it takes away this energy of, I got to get going, almost like a hurry up energy. But when you are shown that your spiritual path can be grounded in optimism, everybody just calmed down and got in their bodies. Yeah, you just found your space. And as that optimism runs through the spiritual path, it's cleaning out a lot of no, you can't have energy, which covers a lot of ground. That was also a nice reminder to everybody that that is why you came here, was to work on your spiritual goals. That's a big part of why you took a body, that and gathering information. Oh, that's really pretty. After putting the purple energy, the purple optimism on the path, that whole space of your spiritual path changed to a light, clear blue. So, like with a lot of clarity to see your next steps. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in with gold. And then we're going to run a little optimism in the crown chakra. So that's what I'm going to do now, is take that vibration of optimism and move that around in your crown in a clockwise motion. Okay, and maybe I'm going to run it through your energy channels too. It's too good. It's too good to be wasted. So I'm going to run it in your crown chakra, and then it flows down your back channels and up your front channels. And I'm branching it out at the throat for the arm channels so that you can have optimism in your creative channels as well. Okay. Good. Now it's flowing throughout your whole space, not just in your crown, but in your energy channels. And you're looking good. And now you'll ever be the optimist. All right. I'm going to fill you in with a big gold sun. Cool. I just got a message that one of you can feel the energy moving. Thanks for telling me that. That's great. All right. You are filled in and you are now optimistic. And remember what I said about pay attention to what you're running your energy through. So if you're unhappy about something and you keep running your energy through that, it's going to create that situation for you. Okay, so announcement, this Friday, we have a Female Fridays free 30-minute meditation, and that is on, I had a spiritual freedom, I do believe. Yeah, spiritual freedom in the female space. I'm loving that. And then next week on Wednesday, we have Body Beautiful, and we're going to be grounding our hormones and our glandular system. So those are the next couple of things coming up on the calendar. And Christy sent out the announcement for December, so you should have that and know all the classes and events that are coming up. So I look forward to seeing you on Friday in the meditation. Thank you again for joining me tonight. And enjoy your optimism. All right, I got my eyes on you. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.